So for this week, I am gonna do my third ever oil painting. Once again, I am doing an underpainting first. It is a little different this time. I decided to do an orange underpainting, which should just have some fun orange tones in it. And he had us try something new where we would just start painting it down instead of sketching it out first with charcoal. And I must admit I did not like it as much, because even in the end product, the proportions ended up being pretty off, because the figure I was drawing was a hand holding a 20-sided object. My boyfriend, who is a D&D nerd, said that it was a D20, so that's how I ended up it's called that to me now, because that's just how I think of it now. So it's just kind of a guy rolling a giant D20. But after the underpainting dried, I started doing the tones over it, and just like the last painting, which you can go and see the mixing on that, I just did a simple grayscale mixture and then added the orange into it. Later in the painting, I do kind of change the colors I used a little bit, because I did end up missing the orange a lot more, because it didn't really come out into the colors like they were supposed to. But yeah, it just was a lot more complex than I thought it would be. And I know this is only my third oil painting, so I'm trying not to judge it so far, but so far I think I like painting with acrylic better, because oil painting takes a really long time to dry, which I thought I would like since I love blending. But I also love to blend with my hands, and since we had to wear gloves all the time, I could blend with the gloves, and I do a lot in this video, as you will see in a minute. But it was just, it got very easily muddled and just kind of smushed up, and then you'd have to let it dry overnight. It was hard to just do 6 hours of painting. It would just get too wet to paint on, and I don't know, I'm still learning, so I'm sure that there's correct ways to do it, but that was the best I could really do for now. And at the setup that I had created, because we were studying dramatic lighting, so I had created a sleeve over the light so that the light was emanating from inside the sleeve, but it just created very dramatic lighting, and I had a hard time really putting down dark colors because I knew it would be hard to take them away. And so I was just really shy painting for a long time, and it just got a little hard to figure out. And even in the end, I don't think I fully created a very good hand, but hands are really hard to draw and apparently even harder to paint. So I'm obviously still learning. I might still try to sell prints of this painting just to see if they sell, just for fun. So if you want to check it out, I'm going to be selling prints of this painting on my Etsy at Chittercat. So if you would like to check that out, I would love for you to at least comment on it and tell me what you like and what you think could have gone better. I think I'm going to start trying to sell prints of all of my paintings that I do from now on. I am not going to do last week's video painting, since it was a recreation of another person's painting, and I just feel weird selling that as my own art, even though it would be legal. So since this is a Sarah Gray original, I will be selling prints of it, although I don't think I'm going to try to sell the original painting because my boyfriend liked it so much, it's gonna go straight to him. But yeah, as you can see, it's just, I had a very hard time creating the dramatic lighting effect that looked so cool in the still life. And eventually, I will tell you when, my teacher actually ended up trying to help me, in which he got a little overexcited and actually ended up painting on my painting, which that is not on video, but you can see a random point in the video where it skips to like really dramatic and weird tones. And so for a while that really just kind of made me a little depressed because it didn't feel like my painting anymore. So I end up switching to a very, well, first I just kind of struggle and try to continue the painting that he had kind of messed up a little bit just to see if I could fix it. But I think I mostly ended up realizing that I honestly didn't like the color palette I had chosen because I really wanted the orange, but apparently I didn't know this, but when you mix orange with really dark gray or black, you get a very gross green color, and it just was not really pleasant to paint with or pleasant to look at. So I ended up recreating my entire palette by the end of this. But I don't know, by the end I was really pleased with how it looked. I definitely have a lot more to learn, but it was really nice. I liked it. I'm sorry. But yeah, as you can see, I was very shy at the beginning, just slowly adding lighter and darker values, and there's the time jump to after my teacher had started painting on it. And what he did helped push me a lot, but it still just felt kind of gross and weird. And so this is where I started trying to add orange back into it, just hoping that that would fix it. But as you can see, it's just a very greenish orange in some places, and it just created very bleh feeling. So I just kept working and trying to fix it, and the D20 was absolutely a nightmare to try to create the right form, and I still don't think I ever successfully got the fingers right. And the thumb I liked, but it just, since it was foreshortened, it ended up looking way too short, even though I had done that on purpose. So it just didn't look like it fit with the rest of the hand. But I still felt like I had learned a lot. But yeah, here what I'm doing was actually taking my palette knife and scraping away a lot of the paint that he had added to it. And then I decided to try a very textured look to make it my painting again, since it just kind of felt like I was continuing my teacher's painting because he had painted so much on it. And I actually ended up enjoying it a lot. I am not a textured painter at all, so it was very fun to kind of push myself to try a different style. I had intended to try doing a more textured look in the background and then a more detailed soft look in the background, because I thought that would create more depth, but my teacher pointed out after I had finished that it kind of did make it look odd because the paint was thicker in the background, which brought it forward. And so, I mean, I definitely learned a lot from this painting. It probably not my best, and hopefully I will grow, but I think I found a lot of growth in this painting. And so I'm really excited. I'm actually at this moment about a week ahead of where my videos are, so I have already completed another painting, and I can show how that kind of helped me grow a little bit. I kind of swapped the factors I had used and used more painting in the foreground than the background, and as much as I hate to admit it, because my teacher really annoyed me on this painting, it did look a lot more realistic to have the thicker paint in the foreground and the thinner paint in the background. But overall, I absolutely love how it turned out. You can judge it as much as you want, and please tell me what you like and don't like, but it's very different than my usual art style, but I really like pushing myself to find different things, and it just came out just very fantastical, and I just have deemed it the D&D painting because my boyfriend decided to show me that it was a D20, and now I can't get that out of my brain. So this is the D&D painting, and I hope you liked it, and I hope you will check in next week to see next week's painting. Alright, bye!